Okay, this is breaking news out of Medellin, Colombia, and Colombia as a whole, as a matter of fact. This has to do with the Migración Colombia strike that is going on currently at the airports, all international airports across Colombia. This story is going to be directed mostly at MDE and Medellin, but no, this is all the international airports in Colombia right now. Then I'm going to show what the news is saying, and I want you to hear their news, which we don't get to hear that often. I want you to hear that in English. So stay tuned for that just after this short story. Let's jump into this one right away. And again, this one is from El Colombiano. International travelers arriving at José María experienced an ordeal due to Operation Turtle at Imigración. Although there are no reports of flight suspensions, many passengers have not been able to board on time for this reason. The arrival and departure of travelers through the José María Córdova Airport in Rionegro became an ordeal on Wednesday due to protests by immigration officials. The movement is not only present in this air terminal, but in others in the country as pressure mechanisms to demand better working conditions, salary increases, and the hiring of more personnel, according to the union. A source told El Colombiano that although the protests began at José María on Tuesday, December 3rd at 6 in the afternoon, the situation has become almost unsustainable in the last few hours. At the international terminal serving Antioquia, lines of people have accumulated, ending up exasperated by the long waiting times, both in the departure and arrival sections. Yes, there are serving people, but if normally the delay with an immigration agent is 20 seconds, now it is 3 minutes. The queues are horrible, added the source about the so-called Operation Turtle. Although there are no reports of flight suspensions due to this cause, the problem is that many passengers have missed the plane that they had tickets for due to this cause. The only ones who are exempt are those who can register using the biometric system BioMig, but this requires prior registration and payment of a fee and is only possible for nationals. The situation is likely to get worse during the afternoon on Wednesday, as these are usually the hours of greatest traffic in the international section at José María Córdova. On this day, 45 flights to other countries and 42 routes from abroad are scheduled to arrive through this terminal. There are those who are affected by protests at the José María Córdova Hospital. The problem also affects ground transportation that transports passengers between the airport and different places in the department, especially Medellin. The passengers who board are bored, and the situation is also complicated because we have to wait up to 3 hours. What we tell them is to get in line and to call when they finish. If one is not there, we recommend a colleague. A taxi driver who covers that route told this newspaper. The migration union said Monday that the government has delayed issuing a critical decree for more than a year that would allow for the increase in staff, helping to ease pressure on workers. The rank and file expressed their complete rejection of the mockery with which the representatives of the government of change have held several meetings with representatives of the UAE, MC, and MRE employees, the union said. The acting director general of migration, Martha Hernandez, has told the media that 600 new officials are needed for the proper functioning of airport checkpoints. The budget has already been approved, but the hiring has not been done as of yet. So there you go. This had to have been a hell of a day in Medellin, Colombia, all the international flights. I know what it's like. There's somebody there going, that's right. I can only imagine what kind of day this has been. But let me show you this news. Actually, I have two news stories if you want to stick around and listen to them.
Colombia, just to keep clearing up doubts about what's happening in the midst of this situation. Mrs. Hernandez, thank you very much for this contact with Noticias Caracol. Can you confirm or deny that part of this crisis, the collapse happening in migration at different airports in the country, is due to the fact that more flights have been authorized, for example at El Dorado, than what the infrastructure and human capacity can handle?
The airport's capacity is a civil aviation matter. We are seeing increased migration flows. Colombian Migration found a tax entity What we can note is that we are seeing rising migration flows, and that's been a result of the rise in migration. But it's also important to note that Colombian Migration established a tax entity 12 years back. That government should conduct the necessary technical studies to approve an increase in staffing for the new 6 centers to address migration sanctions and regional matters. We are fulfilling our service obligations. Strengthening is needed, and I will continue working on this. Of course, this government must carry out the technical studies that correspond to approving an increase in the number of staff at 6 new centers to serve not only the fetuses with migratory sanctions, but all the regional centers. And in this sense, we have been working and fulfilling our socios obligations in providing the service. We know that strengthening is needed, and I'm going to keep working on this. This year, 123 more people were hired, and it's expected that in the first half of 2035, 544 new people will be brought in, which has been authorized by the national government. We're just waiting for the signature from the Minister of Finance because one of the steps you need for that signature is a whole rigorous technical review that Migración Colombia is conducting.
Mr. Hernandez, what do you have to say to all those travelers who are currently facing such long waits at these international airports and have missed their connections and flights? How much progress has been made?
Well, it's also important to point out that we've managed to get the collaboration of the ANI, Civil Aviation, and the OPA confessors to see the results we've had at El Dorado International Airport, where the flow of migrants has improved, considering that foreigners can use technological tools upon departure. This is also available at José María Córdova Airport. We have a challenge, or several challenges, including, of course, continuing to seek salary improvements that have been structural problems for over 12 years and that require a more rigorous and detailed study to achieve salary leveling. This is signed in the agreement that was made with Dr. Carlos Fernandez Garcia on September 6th, and Dr. Rigoberto Niño. It was an intense exercise, and we aim to fulfill it. The Ministry of Health regarding diseases, Migration Colombia manages entry, and we're working on creating 2 new entry points, crucial for national security. We've implemented technological tools in migration, like 20 machines for citizens to facilitate entry, free when entering and exiting the country. This applies to José María Córdova Airport, where we have a responsibility. The deadline is with the Secretary's concessionaire. Migration Colombia will benefit, gaining more technological tools. Thanks to biometric machines, the situation with migration lines isn't worse. Additionally, it's important to point out that we have substantially implemented technological tools around migration. For example, we have 20 machines that can be used by our citizens to facilitate their entry into the country, and we have maximum availability for our Colombians, starting from the moment they enter the system, which is already free for Colombians when entering and exiting the country. This also applies to our José María Córdova Airport, where we also have a great responsibility and commitment. Right now, the deadline is with the concessionaire of the Secretary, and we're working on a notary plate. Migration Colombia will benefit from this, and we will obtain more technological tools to use upon entry. Thank God we have these biometric machines. Because if not, the situation that viewers are seeing right now with the endless lines at migration would be even worse.
It's worth noting that not everyone can use this. Only Colombians can, not foreigners. And the number of foreign visitors to the country has grown quite a bit. Mrs. Hernandez, is this an indefinite strike, a staggered strike, a slowdown plan, or what is it? How long will this activity that is slowing down the entry of visitors to the country and our own citizens continue?
From the country by officials from Migración Colombia, we're heading to José María Córdova Airport in Rionegro, where some travelers are unhappy about the delays in international flights, and this is due to the lack of migration staff because of that slow plan. What are users saying? Andres. That's right, and we've come to the international departures area. As you can see, this is the scene right now at José María Córdova Airport in Rionegro. Here, lines are forming little by little, but they're moving quickly at this entrance, at this first checkpoint. Once you get inside where the migration officials are, that's where the whole operation starts to slow down. In fact, There are people saying they've been waiting here for hours for their travelers, for their family members to come out. We found one of them here. How are you, sir? Have you been waiting here for a while? What's your name and what's your situation?
Good morning. My name is Juan Carlos Valencia. We've been here for about an hour and a half waiting for my daughter to go through the migration process, but it's moving way too slowly. Apparently there are issues with the Migration Workers Union, so we're just hoping she doesn't miss her flight.
What have they told you as family members? I mean, you can see them over there, and as you can see in this moment in the images from Noticias Caracol, there are long lines, and that has been going on for hours.
Yes, the congestion has been going on for a while. We're waiting because there's a chance they might miss their flight soon. We have to wait for them to go through the migration process to see if everything goes well.
Perfect. Thank you very much for being on Noticias Caracol. Well, that is one of the many people who are affected by this migration issue right now at the José María Córdova. We spoke earlier with other users, with other travelers, and they also expressed their frustrations, not just about today, but also about other days last week when they had problems with these processes. Honestly, this week we've had several quinceañeras, and the girls have been delayed a lot. There have been some issues with documents that are already prepared and reviewed by migration. But today is the day we still haven't been able to leave. I think we need more staff to assist tourists and all the Colombians arriving from other countries. There's a lot of traffic in the lines, and the process to get through migration is way too slow. That office you're seeing right now on the Noticias Caracol screen is the Migración Colombia office here at José María Córdova Airport. We spoke with them earlier. They can't speak on camera, but they explained that there are currently 9 officials here at the airport, down from 15, and obviously this slows down all the processes. They claim that they receive about 6,000 travelers daily, which represents around 60 flights, and they say that only when there are these contingencies do they send immigration officials from Bogota. And on January 15th, the situation will collapse again here at José María Córdova. That's the situation.
Let me know what your feedback is too. Is it good? I think it's good to hear what they say in English. You let me know what you think, because this service does cost me money. So if it's not a benefit to you, let me know. I'll just use it for myself. But I think it's good to hear what they're saying, especially the mayor or the secretary of security and coexistence, whomever. I think it helps to hear in English, in your language. For those of my viewers, 5% who are probably fluent, 10% who probably speak it and understood, but the rest are probably struggling. So anyway, this is why I do it. Anyway, you're up to date with the latest news. Breaking news out of Medellin, Colombia, and Colombia as a whole. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to travel, but travel safe.
Yo. Yo, it's dcbornrob, beat the stream, daily dose. East Coast swagger, hit you with that travel pros. Colombia trips, Medellin tips on the real. Stay safe, stay aware, what's the deal? News on lock, know the blocks before you walk. Stick to the tours, avoid that shady talk. Urban jungle, vibes for miles is hot. Keep your eyes and ears open, dots to connect the plot. For your journey, pack your mind, strap it tight. Travel safe insurance just in case, day or night. Rob's the plug, got the news tips to thrive. Medellin's your oyster, just stay wise to stay alive. Link up or sink, use the wisdom, that's your shield. Guided tours, soak the culture, streets revealed. Wondrous spots, safe zones, that's the key. dcbornrob's the name, bringing you the clarity. Roll smart, roll deep with that travel wisdom. Medellin's a charm, minus the hazards that glisten. Follow the guide, navigate the pave. dcbornrob, for your peace, make that trip safe. Hit the airport, got the passport stamp clean. Dream destination, life a vibrant scene. Cautious moves is your grooves, play your part. dcbornrob coming through, future-proof street smart.